Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1023, Spitting Image. The art this week is a picture of Vivi in a tree singing with some sparrows while Karu looks on in jealousy, and if you really think about it long enough, Vivi kind of is a Disney princess. I mean, we got her singing with birds, she has an animal companion, she longs for something more. In her case, it was, more for the people of Alabasta, not really more for herself, but she goes on a magical adventure. But enough about that. Let's get into the actual chapter itself. Zoro and Sanji have just finished getting good solid hits on King and Queen. Everybody else is, sort of standing back in awe. And before anyone can actually respond, you got some beast pirates pulling out their guns, the samurais get their swords ready. Kawamatsu takes out a few of the beast pirates, looks at them and says, "Don't interfere." And uh, and Hirogoro looks at the Yakuza leaders and says, "You guys as well. Don't get involved in this." And they're like, "Well, why? They're the enemy." And he goes, I know, but look at the faces of those two. We would just be getting in the way." And he's kind of right. If some samurai leaps between Zoro and King, Zoro, despite his gruff appearance, is a good person. Zoro's not going to slice through some guy just to get to King. King's going to slice through some guy just to get to Zoro. So, at the level of power, while I would say King and Queen are probably above Zoro and Sanji, everybody else is just cannon fodder compared to them. So, they're better off not getting involved. Zoro and Sanji will find a way. I'm guessing through some really cool combo attacks, because I don't think King and Queen, despite their arguing and bickering, are totally against working together in a fight. I feel like King and Queen, despite their differences, definitely have some combo attacks that either they practiced themselves or Kaido told them to practice. Like, "Hey guys, all right, Jack, King, Queen, whatever the three of you think of each other, I really don't care right now. I need all three of you to work on cool combo attacks because we are in a shonen manga and we just need that kind of thing. Not only that, but sometimes we're going to have to, punch mountains, and none of you three can do that by yourself. I can do it. I'm Kaido. I can do whatever I want. But you three need to work on that." While that fight's going on, Marco is actually standing there watching it, and it seems like he's focusing mostly on King, but he's reminiscing about Whitebeard. And Whitebeard, in a drunken state, was telling him about how the Red Line used to be the land of the gods before it became Maryjois, implying that another race or another group of people, or maybe even a whole nother kingdom, used to live atop the Red Line. As he's sitting there thinking, some enemies try to attack him. Honestly, I know Izo comes in there to save him, but this is Marco the Phoenix. Are bullets really going to hurt him? I know it's by instinct to save your friend, but anyways, Izo tackles him out of the way and says, "Hey, we're still in the middle of a fight. What are you doing?" And Marco goes, "Oh, yeah, I knew you'd save me." That's trust. That's friendship right there. But as Izo's carrying Marco away, Marco goes, "Hey, have you, do you believe in God?" Izo's like, "This is not a time for a religious debate." And they continue on. So, it's interesting. Obviously, Marco seeing King, maybe there are gods in the world of One Piece. We know there's definitely spirits because of, Klabuterman from, the Going Merry. And, well, we still don't know what those giant shadows all the way in the Florian Triangle are. But we've never actually seen super proof of gods. We thought we saw proof of angels when we saw the Bilkins, the Shandorians, the Skypians, but it turns out they're from the moon. And we're going to get back to that in a moment, so I'll just jump to the next thing. As Marco's thinking about this, King and Queen get back up, and Queen starts yelling at Sanji and Zoro about, "Hey, we are the calamities. We are the drought, the plague, the wildfire. We are Kaido's big boys. You think attacks like that are going to beat us? And he just starts blasting at them. But as Zoro and Sanji are dodging these blasts, Sanji tells Zoro that he's feeling off. Even to the point where Zoro actually has to block one of King's attacks because Sanji's more focused on talking to Zoro about this than actually fighting. See, according to Sanji, ever since he wore the raid suit for a second time, he's been feeling off. There's a comedic joke here of Zoro goes, well, yeah, you do have weird eyebrows, but Sanji means this in his physical body. If we think about it, the Straw Hats have been going through a lot of, not mental stress, but physical stress in this arc. If Sanji's, feeling off because of the raid suit, Chopper's facing the after effects of using, Monster Point for longer than 3 minutes, Zoro is going to feel the after effects of this super healing drug that the Minks gave him. Luffy is going through a crazy amount of physical stress. We're talking levels like back when he fought Rob Lucci or when he fought Gecko Moria and used Gear 2nd and 3rd at the same time. There is a lot of healing that's going to probably be needed after this. And while I'm very much looking forward to the Elbaf arc, we might actually have I wouldn't say a time skip, but maybe like a training/healing arc for the Straw Hats coming up. That would be kind of helpful to not only give them the power-ups they need for the final battles that are coming up very soon, but also I just want to see the Straw Hats interact together. I want to see them together as a crew and just maybe like spend a couple days at sea together, just healing from this battle, talking to each other, maybe some flashbacks as to what they learned during those 2 years. Yeah, that would kind of leave Jinbei out, but if you, cut back to them talking, maybe Jinbei fills in what he said, his thoughts on the matter, and then cut back to their flashbacks. I don't know. I'm not the writer of One Piece, but I would like to see these after effects of all these power-ups they've been using throughout this arc come back to not bite them in the butt, but make them retreat, think, heal, and, prepare for what is next to come. So after Zoro defends Sanji from King's attack, he tells Sanji, hey, you owe me one. Sanji then responds almost immediately by blocking one of Queen's attacks on Zoro, saying, hey, now we're even. After blocking that attack, Queen takes a look at Sanji's leg and says, hey, I remember now. All of Judge's kids have like weird enhancements and stuff, and I worked with Judge, I know what he's capable of. So is that leg you got there like a cybernetic enhancement? Because I'm gonna guess in Queen's head is if that's Judge's technology, I'm gonna break your leg off and I'm gonna take it apart and I want to see what makes it tick. To which Sanji just responds with, "No, I am 100% human." Queen looks down at him and just, no, humans don't set yourself on fire, and I know that you're not a Lunarian. As Queen says that I know you're not a Lunarian, King pauses for a second and stares at him. That was a nice little lore drop just now. We know we got the Bilkins. We know we have the Shandorians. We know we have the Skypians. But to have a race actually called Lunarian, plus he's got the big black wings, my guess is that King, or at least his people, were from a moon. If we are to believe the Library of Ohara, and the big model they had there where 6 things are orbiting the world of One Piece, unless those other things are some kind of satellite or asteroid or something of that nature, it's quite possible that the moon Eneru went to, where the Birkins, the Skypians, the Shandorians all came from, is not the same moon that King's people came from. And who knows, maybe the other 4 moons that are left out of this equation also have races on them. We may get the One Piece goes to the moon that some people have been hoping for. I personally think that if there is going to be something with these moons aside from Eneru coming back, because with Lunarians it's kind of a strong hint that something's up with the moon, something's important about the moon. Eneru finds something on the moon, comes back down for his revenge, gets his butt handed to him by Luffy. Regardless, the moons have slight significance in One Piece. I wouldn't say to the point that they are going to be a pivotal moment. I don't think there's going to be a moon arc, but after One Piece is over, I remember reading an article one time of Oda saying that he would like to do a space adventure. Maybe rather than getting a Boruto-esque spin-off of One Piece, we get a space adventure that takes place in the universe of One Piece. And that space adventure starts off on the moons of the world of One Piece. Heck, we might even get a name for the planet that the world of One Piece takes place in. So as Queen is going at it with Sanji, King and Zoro start, having an actual serious fight. King comes crashing down with his sword, and Zoro goes to block it with, his two swords, only to find that King's sword has indents on it, and this catches Zoro off guard just enough for King to knock his swords out of his hands. And before Zoro can even respond to that, King punches him. I mean, he's got like blades in between his fingers like Wolverine, but he just straight up punches Zoro. And even Zoro responds with, what the heck? And King goes, I don't see why anyone ever has to actually have formal techniques when they're fighting. So I just hodgepodge of whatever. And Zoro goes, okay, that's fair. You never actually said you were a swordsman. So just letting you know, heads up, I might bite your throat out because I have to win this. That's a pretty big statement. As the two of them continue to go at it, we actually see Kawamatsu and Hyogoro talking again. And as they're watching the fight, Kawamatsu goes, hey, boss, there was a reason why I didn't really hesitate when Lady Hiyori said that she wanted to give Zoro Enma. And Hyogoro goes, yeah, no, I kind of see it too. He is the spitting image of Ringo's daimyo before Kaido took over and whatnot. The same daimyo who traveled with the little fox that Kawamatsu traveled with. And it even makes sense, as the two of them are talking, that he was the one who brought back Shusui to Wano. Because Ryumo was also a one-eyed samurai. So, to all you people out there who said Wano is going to have roots to Zoro, and Zoro is going to be the descendant of Ryuma, who is also, and the rightful owner of Shusui, well, you're not possibly wrong. Zoro looks just like the descendant of Ryuma. If you go back to Oda's super early work, you can see what Ryuma looked like when he was human. He looks just like Zoro. And Ryuma's zombie has a big bandage over his eye, implying that Ryuma was a one-eyed swordsman. Now, Ryuma wasn't a one-eyed swordsman when he slayed the dragon back in the comic that Ryuma first came from, but that's neither here or there. He could have lost his eye at any point in the story, and it would still be fulfilling a prophecy or fate or however you want to see it. But, congratulations! Zoro is definitely descended from Wano. Possibly. A spitting image, if nothing else. And that's pretty cool. Of all the Straw Hats, when Oda said what their nationalities would be in the real world, Zoro is the only one who Oda said would be Japanese, and Wano is, of course, based on Japan, so it would make sense that the Japanese member of the Straw Hat crew came, bloodline-wise, from the Japanese island in One Piece. But the chapter doesn't even stop there, which honestly, we are getting nice, thick chapters lately in One Piece, and I really appreciate this. There's still the same number of chapter pages, but it feels like a lot more is going on in the chapters as of late. So anyways, the big thing that happens after this is Jack and Inuarashi are still going at it. Inuarashi grabs Jack by the trunk, throws him out the wall, and as he's coming outside, he's telling Jack, we got ready for this day. and we are not going to let you take it from us. And he starts transforming, and Jack's like, wait a second, we're indoors. How did you? And he looks up. And there's a hole in the ceiling. Because Ashura Doji, when he pushed that Odin clone out, and it blew up, it caused a hole in the ceiling. So we now have Duke Dogstorm himself in his Sulong form fighting Jack. Meanwhile, Nekomamushi has just tackled Perospero outside, and Perospero's on the ground, and you hear Wanda and Carrot, they're like, oh my gosh, it's Master Cat Viper, and they're looking, and he's coming out, he's turning into his Sulong form too, and Perospero just has this look of dread on his face, and Nekomamushi looks up and he goes, Pedro, if you're watching this, pour yourself a drink. As for you, little tongue boy, it's gonna be your last full moon you ever see. Honestly, if I was gonna put money on this fight, I would say Duke Dogstorm and Jack, it's gonna be pretty evenly matched. Jack's not gonna last too terribly long because he got his butt handed to him by the two kings of, Zunisha? Yeah. He got his butt handed to him by the two kings of Zunisha when they were in their Sulong form. With his weakened state, I don't think it'll take too long for our big old pupper here to finish him off. As for Perospero versus Big Ol' Kitty, this is going to be a quick fight. It really is. Perospero is already weakened. He's already haggard. He's already missing an arm. He's not really much of a fighter despite his bounty. His devil fruit really makes up for most of what he's capable of. I think Cat Viper's going to have a cakewalk here and just make it out just fine. So, who knows? Maybe there'll be another fight for Cat Viper. Maybe he'll show up during the King and Queen fight with Zoro and Sanji and, help one of the two of them out when they're done with the fight and, they need recovering. Whatever the reason, my money's on the cat, 100 to 1. And my money's on the dog, maybe 10 to 1. After that, we cut to the ninja fight still going on. Raizo versus Fukurokuju. The two of them are going at it, and Fukurokuju says, I cannot believe you are, still insisting on claiming this immature child is going to be the Shogun of Wano. To which Raizo responds, no, you don't understand. Momonosuke doesn't have to be a mature adult to be the Shogun of Wano. This is a new era for Wano. Wano will grow and mature with Momonosuke as he does so. Unfortunately, that's not really an option for Momonosuke anymore. As we see down below, the Heart Pirates are panicking. They are absolutely crazy right now because as they are screaming, Kaido has come down. He is down here. He has come to kill us. Why is he down here? Shouldn't he be up there fighting people? And this giant dragon is staring Luffy down as Shinobu is crying next to Luffy. And Luffy looks at the dragon and says, Hey Momo, is that you? Momo goes, Yep. Yeah, it's me. Shinobu did what he asked. She aged him up 20 years to his proper age of 28. And Luffy goes, wow, that is so sad. Why are you crying? That's so cool. You turned him into a dragon. And she goes, yeah, but it's irreversible. And then she has a little flashback of her, looking at Momonosuke's adult human form and saying, oh my gosh, you look just like, and then it gets cut off. And Luffy looks at Momonosuke, big dragon form, and says, all right, Momo, let's go take on Kaido together. And Momo goes, yeah, and that's where the chapter ends. So, obviously, the biggest guess here is that when Momonosuke turned into an adult, he looked just like his dad, and that's why Shinobu's crying. It's totally possible that he looks like his mother, although Hiyori looks a lot like her mother, so I feel like it just makes more sense. I saw a comment somewhere that he might look like Zoro. I don't know why Shinobu would cry at that. He might look like his grandfather. That's entirely possible too. But the most likely scenario is that he looks like Odin. As for the ripe fruit or the mature fruit, depending on how you want to translate. I know it's translated to the ripe fruit, but the Japanese word involved is the mature fruit. If you go by that, there's an entire possibility that this shift in Momo's demeanor doesn't come from the confidence of being a full-grown human being with a giant dragon form, but instead he was matured not just physically, but mentally. We've never seen Shinobu use her power on anyone else, so it's entirely possible that Momo not only went through 20 physical years of growing up, but 20 mental years of doing so as well. With this mental growing up, Momo will definitely be more mature and better able to handle the situation of fighting Kaido himself. If nothing's happened to Yamato by the time we get back up there, because Oda does love his dramatic chapter finishes, so, for all we know, Luffy will get up there by the end of next chapter to see Yamato bloodied and on the ground. Not dead, because I'm starting to like Yamato more and more, and, I feel like just dying casually off screen is definitely unceremonious for a character that Oda spent this much time creating and building up. But who knows how this fight's going to turn out. All we know now is that Luffy and Momo are ready to get back up there, and I'm ready for next week's chapter. Thank you for watching as always. It's starting to rain, but that's not really your problem. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.